Hey everyone, how's it going? Today we're going to be going over and showing you how to install the Curt T-connector trailer wiring harness here on a 2018 Honda Accord. So a trailer wiring harness is going to be one of the few things that you need in order to tow a trailer with your Accord. In addition to this, you're going to need a trailer hitch and a ball mount / hitch ball, all of which we carry here at eTrailer. So what your trailer wiring harness is going to do is it's simply going to transfer these signals from our vehicle to our trailer so we can let other motorists out on the road know where we're going to be going, allowing us to arrive to our destination safe and sound. Now, this is not only a safety issue, it is a legal requirement in every state. A lot of the times your larger camping trailers are going to entirely block the taillights on the vehicle. So we still need a way to transfer those signals from the vehicle to the trailer. Now this is going to provide us with a 4-way, also known as a 4-pole flat. This is the most common and standard type of trailer connector on the market and used here in the US, so this is more than likely the one you're going to need. This is going to transfer all of your basic lighting signals, such as your stop and turn signal circuits for either side, as well as your running lights. And then when we're not using it, it's just going to be tied to the safety chain loops here on our trailer hitch with the included dust cap, which is going to keep out moisture from inside the connector and prevent any lighting issues from occurring. So this kit does have a powered module, and basically what that means is all of these circuits for the trailer are going to be separated from the vehicle. So you don't have to worry about any issues with the trailer affecting your vehicle. You also don't have to worry about the lights for the trailer pulling that from the vehicle's lights. Instead, it's going to pull them from the battery, which is again going to cut down on any potential for issues to the lights on your vehicle. Now in regards to installation, this is pretty easy. There's really not too many modifying to the vehicle whatsoever. There's actually no cutting or splicing at all. The bulk of the installation is just going to be running that wire, the power wire from the rear of the vehicle to the front of the vehicle. Keep in mind, you do have to do this. You can't tap into any accessory circuits back here. You do have to attach it straight to the battery. But aside from that, it's really not that bad. Now we do recommend routing the wire under the vehicle because it's easiest, but I understand you don't have a ton of room to work. If you want to try to route it through the inside, you're more than welcome to do that, but I would say it is going to take a little bit more time to do that. So just go ahead and plan for that. Give yourselves around an hour or two depending on your experience level. Let's go ahead and jump into the install now. We're going to come to either side here and we're going to be removing this cover plate here for our tail light. In order to do that, I'm going to get a plastic trim panel tool and I'm going to sneak it inside this edge here where it meets the tail light. And go ahead and pull it out. Now once I get that cover plate off there's going to be 2 Phillips head screws holding our taillight to the body of the vehicle. Go ahead and get them out. And once we get our taillight screws removed, we can remove the taillight by just pulling straight out and away from the vehicle like so. And then on the back side here, we're going to have a little connector that would depress. And this should allow us to pull out our connector. Just like that. And then on the bottom here, we have a wiring connector we need to break free as well. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of airline tubing, whatever you have similar, a wire coat hanger, and we're going to stick it between the back side of the body and our bumper there and try to fish it out down from below. So once we have our wire routed underneath the vehicle here, what we're going to do is we're going to take our wiring harness, we're going to take the 2 connectors with the yellow wire in them, and I'm going to tape them to this airline tubing, get everything as tight as I can. And once I have it taped on there, I'm going to take the other end of my airline tubing. I'm going to pull it back behind the bumper here. Hopefully, our connectors are going to come out here in the taillight pocket so we can connect them. So there we go. That wasn't too bad. Now I'm just going to go ahead and peel off all this tape. So now that I have my connectors up here in the taillight pocket, I'm going to go ahead and plug one of them into our factory harness here on the vehicle. And now this other one here is going to plug into our actual taillight. So we're going to go ahead and do that now, then we'll re-secure the taillight to the body of the vehicle. So next we're going to be securing our converter box here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the double-sided tape that comes in your kit, stick it on the back of that converter box. Press it down there so we get good adhesion. And I'm going to take the other side, peel that back, and now we're going to find a nice flat spot to mount this. So we have a trailer hitch installed. So you can see our wiring harness coming down here. I'm actually just going to route it over here and secure it to the actual trailer hitch at the top there. So now that we have our converter box secure, we're going to have a bunch of extra wires dangling down here. The next one we're going to turn our attention to is the white ground one. In your kit, you're going to get a self-tapping screw. We're going to use this to attach the wire up in this little area here. Next, we're going to take our 4-pole connector. I'm going to route this up and over the bumper support tabs like so. And then I'm actually going to be securing it to the safety chain loops on the trailer hitch here using the included dust cap. So go ahead and install that. And then we'll secure it there to the safety chain loops just like so. Now we're going to have a green wire hanging down. This is going to go over to the passenger side taillight. So I'm just going to snake it back behind the bumper here above the bumper support tabs there to provide some extra support for our wire there. And I'm going to route this over here. And the same thing we did on the other side is I'm going to take this airline tubing, I'm going to tape our connectors to that, and then I'm going to pull them into the taillight pocket over there on the passenger side. So we've got our wiring harness up here. I went ahead and just plugged in our 2 connectors, and now we'll just reinstall our taillight. So now we have it secure, we'll just go ahead and re-secure the screws holding it to the body of the vehicle. So now I'm sure you'll notice we have tons of wires dangling behind the bumper here, and that's not good. We don't want to leave it like that, so I'm going to come back with some zip ties and tie everything up so it's nice and tight and not hanging down. And then we'll show you the final wire, which is going to be our black power wire that has to run up to the battery there in the engine bay. So we've got our wire in now, and this first section is a little tricky because this is a model with dual exhaust, so there's large mufflers on either side. What we did is we ran it above the heat shield, but we also used some ring clamps and secured it to the bottom of the frame there, so it's going to keep it away of our exhaust. So if we follow that all the way to the other side, you'll again see the same thing. We have a little ring clamp here secured to the body of the vehicle, and then we're going to go up and over the subframe. Once we do that, we're going to come down here on the other side of the gas tank, so you can see our wire there. And then at this point, I just removed these 2 little plastic clips here with a flathead screwdriver. That allowed us to pull this panel down enough to route our wire over it. And then from this point, we're pretty much just going to be routing it atop this panel all the way to the front of the vehicle. So there's going to be a couple of those push pin fasteners here that we have to remove. And once we do that, we can pull this panel down. So you can sneak your wire above that panel all the way to the front here. Now we're going to have a couple more fasteners you're going to move, but you're going to need a Phillips head screw for that. There's one here, there's one here. This is going to allow you to pull this down enough so you can see up there, and you can see our wire right here. So at this point here, we're going to stop because we're going to go up into the engine bay. We're going to fish a piece of airline tubing down through the engine bay. That way we can tie our wire to it and pull it up through the engine bay. So we've got our wire pulled up into the engine bay here, and as soon as you get it up into the engine bay, I like to use a zip tie and secure it immediately. That way it can't fall back down, get caught up in our steering or exhaust. So now that I've done that, I've got quite a bit of extra wire here that I'm not going to use, so I can go ahead and cut that off now, because all we're going to be doing is going to the positive battery terminal right there. So go ahead and roughly find out how much I need, cut that, and I'm going to strip some of the jacket off this. And then I'm going to attach my fuse holder. So your fuse holder, you're going to attach a ring terminal to one end, a butt connector to the other end. The one that we have a butt connector on is the one we're going to attach to that power wire. Just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip open this cap here on the positive battery terminal. You're going to take a 10mm socket and you're going to remove that nut. So try our best not to lose that. And then I'm going to place the ring terminal over that stud there. It's kind of tricky to get that on there. Go ahead and start my nut, and then I'm going to secure it back to the vehicle. Make sure our terminal is still nice and tight here. Looks to be. So now I'm going to take the fuse, stick it into the fuse holder, and once you do that, you're ready to test your wiring. So in order to test our wiring, we're going to be using a little 4-pole plug-in tester, which we do sell here at eTrailer, or you could just use your trailer. But keep in mind, if there's any issues on the trailer, they will carry over to your testing on the vehicle. That being said, we'll go ahead and run through them now. We have our brakes, left turn, right turn, and then finally our headlights. So there we go. Now we know everything is hooked up and working correctly. If you guys do have any issues, check that inline fuse holder in the engine bay or the connectors behind your taillights. So now that we know we don't have any issues, that's going to do it today for our look and installation of the Curt T-connector trailer wiring harness here on a 2018 Honda Accord.